Hello, blessed star, soul, warrior, spirit, family, Ohana, familia. You are everything. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. I have been on a roller coaster ride of emotions since the last time we spoke and hung out together on the waxing crescent moon. And I have so much to talk to you about, so much to share with you. And I had to change the scenery today, so I'm doing the reading from a different location. So I just realized that I'm like, wow, talk about navigating the weather. I can navigate the light just by moving. Oh, but I love it. I love it. I'm getting the vibe and like why they want that to happen. So anyway, how are you guys energetically? Let's check in. Feel free to comment below what's going on. Let's get more conversations going below. I know it's hard to put yourself out there, but you know, Bracha Goldsmith is my guardian angel, and she reminded me today how much we all need each other, how much we need to be more courageous with ourselves and with each other. And you know, it's been a minute since Spirit has pulled me to post anything in the description box for you to look at. But if you'd be so bold with yourself, I urge you to go into the description box and click on that link to Bracha Goldsmith. She did an impromptu session. It was so amazing. I actually have not watched her since like December. I don't know what happened, but it's like all of a sudden I just like shut down astrologically. Like I didn't want to know anymore. I was I was always so uber planned, you know, like I'd put in my planner all the things that were happening, the planets, and I'd watch, you know, voraciously. I would watch Bracha and Pam Gregory. They're like sisters. I love them. And I found Bracha through Pam. And it's just very interesting. I keep hearing Bracha because I think that's how she says it. So I apologize, Bracha. Uh, I can't always do things super well, but I try. But you know, I always would look to them for my guidance. They're my gurus, right? Like just like Satguru brings me a lot of like pearls of wisdom and things. You know, I share those with you. I used to share Pam Gregory and Bracha more, but she's like, you can say Bracha. I love her. We have a Palladian connection for sure. I don't know if I am Palladian or she is Palladian, but I definitely feel like we work with the Palladians a lot. Also, I just have to tell you that I'm in a different section right now. So if I'm kind of stopping and going, it's because the scenery is different. And I just was like, is somebody outside? And I was like, oh no, it's just the tree. Sorry. I'm sorry. I've never done a reading from this location in our little RV that we're staying in, and it's just kind of tripping me out. You know what I mean? So you guys know I'm so real. Like I'm in the moment. I'm with you, but I can't help like my peripheral. Like it was really big. It looked like a big shadow just walked past, but then I realized it was the tree, because I have the blind down. Anyway, I digress. So with all that being said, I just have been channeling like a lot of different energies, a lot of different entities. I'm starting to recognize the darkness in me, in my partner, in our home, just like how much they want us to fail and how much they want to keep us down. And that is their job, right? It's their job to test us. It's their job to, you know, say, hey, you don't actually have to do anything if you don't want to, right? They're like, you don't have to do anything. Like, this is your decision, however you want to live your life. However, if we choose to live in the light and the joy and the love and all that good stuff, then you know what? We kind of lose track and lose sight of the darkness because we're just like, I don't need you anymore. We're like, I love myself and I love the universe and I'm happy and I'm joyful, right? When we're staying in that, it's really hard for the darkness to come in. So the darkness comes in when we allow it, right? Like, and the light changes when we shift. Oh, I love spirit. I love when they have me teach lessons. I'm just the vessel. They're teaching me too. I'm just the mouthpiece. Not just the thank you. Whenever I say that, they get like not offended because I don't get offended, but I feel this like very like, you know, that's just old programming, you know, right? Because we are love, we are love, we are love. Also, if you hear me shifting, that's not me farting, although I do love a good fart, a good laugh, a good ruse now and again. Um, I'm just starting to see things on a different level. And I think that's why they even wanted me to shift the reading location today, because they want me to start looking at everything from a different perspective. Because I started setting this up and I'm like, oh, this is like such a cute little corner. I'm like, why have I never sat here before? I'm like, oh, I really like this. I'm like, this is super cute. And I'm putting it together. And then I was about to hit play, but I could not get comfortable. No matter how I sat, what I did, where I went, I couldn't get comfortable. And I was like, what is happening? And I'd put some essential oils on my back. And I was just like, I knew my back was hurting. And then I remembered yesterday was the first day in a really long time that I worked out. And it wasn't even a long workout, but it was a workout. And I just, how your body, you forget, you're like, oh yeah, muscle memory, the muscles were there and they helped me. But this morning I woke up and I'm like, ow, my back, because my muscles weren't strong enough to hold my back. And I've always kept my core strong. No matter what, I've been everything from a 00 to a size 22, American women's sizing. And I've literally been all of those sizes. And it's interesting that after a while, you start to lose sight. Once, like for myself, when I started to focus more on my spirituality and my journey and not so much about how perfect I was and what I looked like on the outside, and I was focusing on what was on the inside, is when my whole mindset of my body started to change. And then what I realized the other day was I don't mind myself bigger. I just don't want to be out of shape. I need to feel comfortable in my skin. I need to feel strong in my core. And I always did yoga and floor exercises and stretches every morning. It was like part of my routine. I would like get up, I would go to the bathroom, and then I would go to the floor and I would put on some nice stretch music. And depending on the day, I may wake and bake and just go into like this meditative meditation, like on the floor, just like feeling every inch of me, just like moving. I'm moving now, you can see, right? Just like moving, letting my muscles feel alive, feeling alive in general, just feeling alive, right? And so, I realized that having that closeness with my body, being that in touch with my body, was actually detrimental to my soul. I needed it. And so I noticed this morning what was happening was that I was like, wow, it's like my body finally woke up yesterday. And it's like, yeah, now you got to keep doing this. And I was going to get up and stretch and do it, but I ended up doing this and doing that or whatever. And that's why I'm hurting, because I didn't really properly stretch those muscles back out, work those muscles back out this morning. So whatever practice works for you, night, during the day, morning, it's different for all of us. We all go at our own pace and our own flow. But I urge you to really start getting in touch with your body again. Maybe you like to walk. Maybe you love weights. Whatever it is, just get active. Just get moving. That's what I'm getting from Spirit, is just to get moving. Get your body moving, get your fluid in motion, your fluid body in motion, and getting your core strong. Because the inside of us, that core, right, our strength, our stomach muscles, our core is what really helps us. When our core is strong, our extremities naturally follow suit. Because our core is strong, we want to maybe do more. So we walk and our legs get strong. Because our core is strong and we feel good, we're like, ooh, I want to go pick apples, or I want to go do something with my hands. I want to go swim. Things just start to change and start to evolve. And these moon cycles are here for a reason. They're here to teach us all about ourselves. And I love that Moonology came in today. This is the third moon phase of the Piscean moon. And if you remember, if you watched the new moon reading, Spirit was really trying to urge us to take this time over the Piscean moon to just relax, go inward. Whether you're north or southern hemisphere, it doesn't matter. We have both in this tribe. It doesn't matter if you're in winter or summer and going into spring or fall. Either way, this is a time that we're going from one season to another. Okay, Ostara's around the corner. And Bracha spoke about that. I've been feeling this really interesting energy. So today in real time is Monday, February 27th. It's a moon day. All of you who know I was born on a Monday, on a moon day. So it's moon day magic. And I love that a lot of these moon readings have been falling on Mondays. It's beautiful. And also get some water, drink some water right now. I'm feeling a lot of anxious energy around some of you, and Spirit saying, just relax, just relax. Also, if you're multitasking, it's okay to multitask, but you don't have to, you don't have to, you know, you can just sit there and do nothing. You can just enjoy yourself. Like right now, I keep shifting and changing, and I apologize because I've never sat here before, but I feel like even this is like some type of, like my uncomfortableness is like aligning with yours. Like maybe, please, again, tell us in the description box, what's uncomfortable for you right now? What is feeling uncomfortable? When I looked down, it was 1014, so that's an angel number for us. Also, it comes down to the number 6, and also lowest denominator, number 3, and we're in the third moon phase. So let's work with that energy. This is the taking action energy, okay? This is what the third moon phase is. After we have, switched over from the last moon cycle to the next moon cycle, then in the waxing crescent, we're setting our intentions of what we want to happen in this next moon cycle. Because remember, the new moon is just one day. It's just one day. So then from the new moon to the waxing crescent energy, or excuse me, from the new moon to the first quarter is the waxing crescent. And that makes sense that would be like the new moon started. Now we're setting our intentions, I think if we start setting our intentions before the new moon starts, like say you're at the end of the Aquarian moon, right? We just finished the Aquarian moon and you're like, man, that was a rough one. Or, this was that or whatever, because I'm feeling this kind of like we're doomed. I know it energy from the tribe. But if you were feeling that, this anxiousness, I've been feeling this anxiousness from you guys and myself and the energy on the planet. But if we take a moment and step aside and look at it from the outside in, we see the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the third quarter, right? Those are the 4 major moon phases, but there are phases in between. And it's the phases in between is where they want us to set those intentions, right? When we're starting from, because if you're in the Aquarian moon cycle, you need to finish it out. Then there's a new moon and you're like, okay, well, that didn't work in that moon phase. And maybe, okay, so maybe Spirit, talk to me, go into meditation, get quiet and ask yourself, what is it in this moon cycle you want me to focus on, work on? And whatever comes into your mind, work on that, focus on that. Spirit will give you the little breadcrumbs and the signs all along the way. Stars. Right now I'm looking at blue stars on this blanket, and I feel like they're trying to tell us that when you see blue stars, or stars of any kind, but definitely blue, blue of any color, light blue, dark blue, doesn't matter. And they're like, teal is a form of blue. Yes, because it's got green in it, but it's got blue. Yes, if any type of stars, I feel like that, those are like the little breadcrumbs for you to watch out for. So when we were in the waxing, when the new moon started, I'm going to go back to that, my calendar. When the new moon started on the 20th, it was a super moon, right? Also, the themes were where we once stood, a lovely place to be, and so flows the current. Then in between there, we did a waxing crescent reading of setting our intentions. Now it's the 27th. And whenever you watch this, the messages are the same. But those of us that are in real time, I'm just kind of keeping up with the flow, right, of the moon cycle. So then we had the second phase, the waxing crescent, We're setting the intentions. Then we go into the first quarter moon. And that's where we are right now. And we take the action on those intentions. But if you remember, Spirit really was speaking to us over the last few readings about not trying to do too much during this moon cycle, no matter where you are in the world, because we are at the end of the astrological year. And not only is Aries the beginning of the new astrological year, but what I've been feeling, I knew something really big was coming in March, but I wasn't sure what. And it was so interesting because I watched that Bracha episode that I spoke of, that's in the description box. And I was just like, so many aha moments were going off. It was crazy. It was so beautiful. I was like, man, she's just really the fucking real deal. And I love when she's like, oh, I didn't plan this. Those are my favorite ones of hers that I watch, because she's just straight up like channeling like messages from Spirit. She's downloading, she's listening, she's paying attention, she's harnessing the energy. But she was talking about how our minds are controlling our soul, basically, is what I got from that, instead of our soul controlling our mind. Remembering that this is an avatar and that our souls are here to have this human experience, and these human beings, these human doings, these avatars, but it's not who we are, and our thoughts are not who we are. And a lot of us sensitives, if we're getting too many downloads from all over, it can really mess with our chi and our focus and being grounded. So I would highly recommend for every sensitive in this tribe and watching this video that over the next 3 weeks until the new moon in Aries, I would definitely take some time to just fucking relax. Take it easy. Just take it easy. Meditate, talk to spirit, ask for guidance, ask for help. In fact, one of the things that I took so many notes from that for different days, and I'm excited to even I even put them in like a black ink so I'll remember that was from Bracha. Like I never want to steal another light worker's, it's like she's teaching me too, right? But her theme was I'm unstoppable. And I was like, yes, Unstoppable Today by Sia. There's a reason why that, went viral, that song, on so many different pieces of film and shorts, and people, because we need that courage, we need that support system from each other, endless support. We need it. 1559. Oh gosh, for one of you or some of you, that's a year. I just literally saw 1559 and saw like the time period and people dressed like that. So that's something for you to work on past life. That's interesting. If you got in your gut, like that's your intuition, listen to what your soul is telling you, because that is what Bracha said. That was another part of our theme today, was listen to what your soul is telling you. And then the question is, ask your soul, what is its message? Thank you, Bracha. And I will seriously tag her with that, because, she was urging us to go into meditation and ask your soul what is its message. If there's a lot of chatter and clatter going on in your brain, that is not you. That is your thoughts, but that is not you. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Like that is downloads, that is people in your ear, that's old programming, that's so many things going on. It's as if somebody turned on like 50 televisions and put them on in your head and you're like, I can't fucking focus. Well, it's because you gotta get out of there. And especially for those of us empaths that we're like imprint empaths, right? Like if somebody says something or we watch something, it's like imprinted on us until we get rid of it, right? It's got to work its way through us somehow. Last night we were watching, lately we've been watching these old Outer Limit episodes. Like we just want like an hour here or there. We don't want to watch a movie or a TV show, get into anything. We just kind of want to watch something and be done. And so we've been enjoying these Outer Limits from the 90s, and they're so good. They're so bad they're good, and they've been silly and aliens and whatever. But then yesterday we watched this one that was so off-putting and so fucking creepy that I'm I literally said out loud after one part, I go I'm gonna have nightmares after this. I was serious. I actually didn't, but I actually was in for those of you who follow me, I call it Subconscious City. I was in Subconscious City and it was daytime. So something's changing inside of me, because I've been in the darkness in Subconscious City for so many moon cycles. I don't even know now, years. And it's not I never dream happy dreams, but when I'm in Subconscious City, it's running into family, friends. It's celebrities are your friends, or I had one recently where Ariana Grande saw me giving a reading to somebody at a fair, and she was like, I want a reading. And she was like, oh my God, she's like, I love you. And I was like, and it was so real. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love you too. She was so sweet. It was so fucking real. When I woke up, I was like, dude, that was insane. I just hung out with, I wonder if Ariana Grande had that dream and was like, oh my God, you're that fucking gypsy lady from the fair. Anyway, I digress. I'm actually working on something like that, by the way, you guys. I don't know how it's going to work out, but there's definitely something like that going on, and there's a lot of changes happening in my life and around me, and I promise you I will keep you updated. Subscribe to Lula's Life if you want to keep updated on my personal life. I've been doing Tallulah Talk, kind of like a TED Talk, but not. Alder kind of came up with that, and I was like, oh, that's fucking brilliant, because I was like, how about Tallulah Talks? I'm like, Lula's language. I was trying to find for a real talk. And he's like, Tallulah Talk. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like TED Talk. Anyway. But the last one I spoke about what's going on with our living situation and things like that. So if you're interested, go check it out. It's called Metamorphosis, because I'm feeling like that right now. So without further ado, I want to jump into the cards, but you please watch that Bracha episode. I got so much from it. You're going to hear me talking about it for a while because I took notes all over my calendar about it so that we can, so basically what I wanted to get to was that I was dead on about that. That I was feeling something big coming in March. So on March 20th, which is also a moon day, it's also it's the waning crescent moon, but it's the Aries season and spring, right? So it's welcome Aries season, blessed Ostara. It's really and so this is what's so cool about it, right? So the new moon isn't until the next day on the 21st. And because of the way things fall, there's a new moon in Aries on the 21st. Hold on, so I get this right. And then there's a new moon in Aries on April 20th. So like the solar eclipse, there's a solar eclipse on April 20th and the new moon in Aries. It's the beginning of eclipse season, but it's also like the beginning of Taurus season. Like basically this spring is like hot cakes. I mean, serve them while they're hot. And Spirit's been having me like make all of these like flame videos. Oh, it's so crazy. So like, I don't know, man. We're going to be like fucking lit when Aries season comes in. So that's why they want us to chillax and relax and just get comfortable. Thank you, Jessica. I just like channeled you. I heard you say chillax in my head. Just relax. Don't try to like do anything major. In this moon cycle, you know what? Even if your intention was to just start fucking stretching again, just do that. You'll feel good. You'll feel better. You know what I mean? Maybe you haven't set any intentions yet. That doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be on the new moon or within the 48 hours of the new moon. It's just really potent at that time. But also, just like astrologically, there's so much going on with Mars and Saturn and Pisces and they had me write this down. Oh yes, so a week from when is that? So a week from tomorrow on Tuesday is the full moon in Virgo, the worm moon, and Saturn enters Pisces until May 24th, 2025. And then it'll dip back into Aries for a summer and then back into Pisces from August 31st, 2025 to February 13th, 2026. So there's just going to be a lot of fucking shit going on. But it seems like if you look at it astrologically, you can almost be freaked out and scared 2215 and be like, oh my God, that's like so much. But if you're coming at it from love and light, it'll be a really exciting time. And that's what Bracha was trying to say. So please go watch that episode. It's like 25 minutes of your life that I promise you will be so grateful that you did. Even just in the comments. And if you've never known Bracha, like maybe this is just introducing you to her. She's one of my most favorite teachers and gurus on this planet. I love Pam Gregory. They're both amazing astrologers, and I don't watch Pam anymore, not because I don't love Pam. When Pam and Bracha are together, I definitely like watch them, but I just feel more drawn to Bracha's energy, right? Which I know Pam wouldn't care. Like that's all it is. It's energetic. It's like that's why some people have like millions of followers, and some people don't. It's just like it's energy, and maybe people align with your energy, and maybe they won't. I'm not for everybody. You know what I mean? My messages are awesome and I love putting them out there, but like me as a person, I'm not for everybody. So thank you for those of you who are walking with me. It's so nice not to walk alone. So thank you. The last time I checked, there was like 490 something. But they come and go and that's okay. But that's just exciting to me because we're just growing in numbers. And when I get these reports back, these monthly reports, I see that we have almost as many people incognito. So I feel like we have about 1,000 people in this tribe, steady and strong. Not everybody wants to be seen, and that's okay. And there are some people that are from my past, and it's okay to show yourself. You don't have to be incognito. I love you anyway, right? So I feel like there's a lot of people that are still subscribing to me. But they don't come forward, and I'm like, I still love you. Just know I love you. Like, no matter if you come and go, when you come and go, like, I love you. And if we didn't align at the time, that's okay. We're aligning now. You know what I mean? And everything's meant to happen for a reason, and most of you on here, you're your own leaders, right? You're not really followers, you're leaders. So you may dip in, as Bracha said about that. It's like you may dip in here and there, with my energy, and you may not. So it's like, and there's some of you who walk with me all the time and you're avid. Thank you to my diehards. You know who you are. Thank you so much because you help keep this tribe afloat. And it's okay because we all go to different places of what we need when we need it. So tomorrow is the last day of February. I can't even believe it. I mean, 2 months into 2023 already. Can you believe it? I mean, honestly, only 10 more months. It's so crazy. Also, tomorrow is my dad's birthday. And so interesting. So is our landlord. They have the same birthday. Our landlord's going to be 80 tomorrow. So send jolly happy birthday blessings. There's actually a really powerful, magical being inside of him. He's just working through a lot of heavy, dark shit. He just lost his wife of 52 years last summer. And, when we spoke with him, for those of you, I don't want to dip too much into my personal life. I spoke about it on the on Lula's Life Metamorphosis episode. And there's a link to my other channel on this page. You'll find it here. But yeah, I literally just had so many aha moments. And I feel like whenever I speak to whenever I speak to spirit about what's going on with him, I just get teacher. So it's been really, really interesting. And we're teaching each other. And my father and I pushed each other's buttons like this too. And he was my teacher when he was alive. And he's still my teacher today, 2551, even though he's, moved on to the other side. But, this attachment to feelings has got to stop. And I've been noticing it and recognizing it in patterns in my personal life too. And it's not that we're not meant to feel certain things, but we're meant to feel them and move them on, not dwell on them, not live in the victim mode, because it's so easy to stay in the shadow, right? It's so easy to blame everybody else for our shit, but it's not realistic. And it's not true. It's not somebody else's problem because you're unhappy or you're, you know what I mean? It's like, this is on you. And interestingly enough, and thank you to Zoe. Zoe's been my muse lately, and for the tribe, because of her, I'm learning a lot more about certain things and myself and getting back involved into things that I was neglecting or forgetting about. And so I'm really grateful for the inspiration of others. But I was just starting to see these patterns of deceit that we've all been falling into about ourselves, especially for those of us who've allowed another person to dictate who we are and where we're going and what we're doing, and realizing that we have the power and only we have the power. And it's not anyone else's business or responsibility to take care of us. It is our own responsibility to take care of our own self and our own happiness. However, somebody else in your orbit isn't allowed to keep coming in with their darkness, and you're doing everything in your power. It's like, this is what I was telling my husband yesterday. Now, listen, I'm not saying this to throw him under the fucking bus or be a dick. I'm saying this because I'm being very real with you guys. I know I'm not perfect, and I know I could be a monster, and my mean side is really mean, and I'm working on that because my mom was one of the 2756 and then 2757. My mom can be one of the meanest people on this planet. And again, not trying to throw her under the bus, but just telling you what I was raised with. But she could also be really sweet and very loving and super supportive. But there was just so much manipulation and narcissism from both of my parents growing up that I just was so fucking confused. And I really didn't know whether to, as Dolly Parton would say, itch my watch or wind my butt. Right? I didn't know which end was up, what was happening. I was so confused. I was so fucked up. But I think by being in these relationships with people who live more in the dark, it's making me understand more about my parents, about my past, about my friends, my family, and all the people in my life and how they affect my energy. Because in the morning, after Alder leaves for work, I will get up, even if it's not a nice bright day. I will get up, I will do things, I'll put music on, I will get in my groove, 2855, and Stella gets her groove on, and I am just having a fucking blast. The day is good, everything's wonderful. He comes home, and depending on his mood, it turns to this. And I'm like, hey, do you want to have blah, blah, blah? I don't care. I'm like, do you want to do this? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what's wrong? Did you have a bad day? No. I'm just like, okay. And so I do my best to keep the light in But after a while, I get exhausted. And then when it's like this, and I'm like this too, that's when we spar. And we have been sparring like crazy. And then thank you, Zoe, reminded me that Saturn is going in Pisces. And that is like, but not only that, just right now we're in Piscean energy. My moon's in Scorpio. I'm more emotional during this time. I'm an empath, so I'm feeling all of the energies, right? I'm feeling all the energies around me. I'm feeling 29, 58, and then 59. And for those of you who are new, when I spout out off numbers, those are for you, like it might mean something to you. But you have to remember too, there's semicolons in between. So it could be 2 ages of people. It could be anything. And the numerology is different for everybody. So like I said, I told him yesterday, I said, I can't keep going like this. Like, I love you so much. I'm like, but this fucking seesaw is destroying me. And we've got to figure out a way for you to work through the darkness, because he gets seasonal depression. And I said, because I just want to leave. And I know that that's my fight or flight syndrome that I'm working on. But that's how it was at my house. It was either smooth sailing or it was like all out fucking World War III in my house. Like, just fighting and anger, and just everybody's pissed off because they didn't get to live the life they wanted to, and it's this person's fault and that person's fault, and everybody's acting as mirrors. And me as a child, the youngest, as an empath, I just watched it all with my older brother, my older sister, my mom, my dad. We couldn't keep animals. I would get really devastated when our animals would die, and they just like thought it was best for all of us not to have any animals in the house. Like, just so I was always like, you know, going over people's houses, and they're like, dude, my dog likes you more than us. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't have a dog and I want to play, because I loved animals more than people, and I didn't understand why. I was such a sweet soul, sensitive child, So in this Piscean energy, I want you to work with your inner child, because that's what I was seeing yesterday. I actually literally saw Alder's like inner child, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I've been working with mine a lot too, but I like saw him as like a 3-year-old, and my heart just sank, and I felt so sad for him. And I was like, wow, I'm like, we got to find a way for you to release this, because it's ruling who you are and it's not who you are. So with that being said, the first card that came to us today is, it's time to, it doesn't surprise me, it's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. Which is really interesting, because our next full moon is the full moon in Virgo, then the full moon in Libra, and then the full moon in Scorpio. And I feel like by the time we hit the full moon in Scorpio, which will be in full on spring, is like, that's when Spirit's like, it's going to be time. Like, no more, no more teacher, no more books, no more something dirty looks. Remember that? Or something like, but I feel like, yeah, like it's going to be time to let go and release all the negativity. I don't always read from the book, but I am really being pulled to read from the book today. And I've said this before, I don't think it's going to, but I have this weird feeling this might break into 2 videos. When that happens, that means that it's just if you're done and you don't go to watch the second part 2, then it means that you were only meant to watch that part. Like, don't take it on. You know what I mean? Also, they want me to read the energy around the first quarter moon, like to give you kind of like a better understanding. So it says the keywords for the first quarter moon, even though we know it's about taking action, it's about challenges, confidence, and commitment. Also, the thing I've been getting from Spirit is there's so many of us that have been working on something for a really long time, and we're all like ready to give up. And Spirit's like, no, you're so close. Like, don't give up when you're this close. And for some of you, it's going to come to fruition in the full moon in Scorpio. So, oh gosh, I was going to look on my calendar, and they said for you to research it on your own. Yeah, I don't know why I have this adversity to astrology. I feel like it's almost like I don't want to help myself or something, which I know sounds so silly and bizarre, because it's not true, but interesting. I'm just getting a lot of like aha moments in the lab. Have you guys been getting that? I've just been getting a lot of clarity, Jules, one of our tribe members, sent me this oil from doTERRA called DDR Prime. Holy shit, man. She's like, just put a little on the back of your like brainstem. I started putting it on my brainstem, and sometimes like on my like temples and on my forehead, and holy shit, on my third eye. I have been like so focused. And if you're interested in it, let me know. and I can find out like what's in it, because I know it's a combo of different things too. But either way, it's been amazing. I've been having like all these like scarecrow at the Wizard of Oz, at the end of Wizard of Oz moments, 34, 38, you know. But yeah, so we've been getting challenged. A lot of us, you know, it's interesting. I like to read the comments in some of the readings when it really resonates, because it's so nice. Not that you want anyone to suffer, of course, no, but it's so nice to have that feeling that you're not alone, that other people are struggling just as much as you are. You are not by yourself. You are not alone. So if you're really close to the end of something, just fucking tie a knot and hang on. And if your rope is so frayed, then take those fucking frays and try and braid them together and hold on, and take the texture of the braid and hold as tight as you can. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm like so ready to like jump ship, but I know that there's like so much good around the corner. And if I could just fucking hang in there, if I can just get through it, like I know it's going to be good. So it's the same for you. I am pushing you forward just as I have been pushed forward by others. You know, we must be the cheerleaders for each other. We must keep moving forward. So take the challenges with confidence and, you know, stick to your commitment, whatever it was. And maybe for some of you, you're trying to get out of a situation, but you have to save money to get out of there. You know, open another account that nobody knows about. Or like, you know, I'm just feeling like this, like some of you are like really holding on, but you're like ready to crack. And Spirit's like, when you're ready to crack, go for a walk, scream in a pillow, talk to a friend, watch something really funny. I don't care if you've seen a movie 100 times. Dude, I can see Step Brothers 100 times. And I know it is like Beavis and Butthead childhood boy, quote unquote, they call it boy humor, little boy humor, but I don't fucking give a shit. That's like all people humor. And, you know, when I'm really having a tough time, I will like go and look on YouTube and watch like shorts from, or watch like scenes from Step Brothers and just laugh. Just laugh. Let it go. Don't hold on to the pain and suffering, because you don't need to. Because I'm hearing from Spirit, for some of you, like you're holding on to it. It's so needless. It's literally needless suffering. And it's almost like, gosh, I don't remember the name of the movie, but we're like the guy for penance, like he's like a monk and he keeps like trashing his back with like, he's like you know, with a whip. He keeps whipping himself and he's like, I'm so sorry. I should be stronger for you. Look at what you went through, Jesus, you know, and it's like, whoa, like Jesus doesn't want you to go through that. Jesus doesn't want you to be in pain. Like he didn't fucking want to be in pain. He didn't enjoy being in pain. Why would any entity want us to be in pain? When I was growing up as a child in a very, very Christian household, so confused with my father's family, like hardcore Catholic, and my mom's family, hardcore Southern Baptist, I was all fucking kinds of fucked up, you know. And I still, like to this day, like look back at my younger self and just been like, man, you were a warrior to deal with that. That was tough. Especially like when we'd like have funerals and stuff, they did completely different things. Like a Catholic funeral as opposed to a Southern Baptist funeral, very fucking different. I mean, my family, like they didn't, like the Southern Baptists, like they didn't embalm, you know, because like they didn't believe in that. Like just like, oh man, like it was just so crazy, you know. And then the kneeling in the Catholic Church and the standing up, and I was so confused. And how come they're taking communion and I'm not, and what's happening? And you know, just don't worry about it. I was so fucking all kinds of confused. Well, you know what? Spirit's saying if you're feeling all kinds of confused, it's because you're living a life for somebody else along somebody else's timeline and story. So, with that being said, the full moon in Scorpio says, if you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time, since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life might be improving now, and if you make an effort, it will do so. So use your magic. You have all the need inside you to bring about your desired result. The attunement to the moon is this mantra. Emote. It's all better out than in. So it's time to release negativity, right? But also, here is, okay, here's the attunement to the moon. And they're saying, like, get out of that cave. It's better to be out than in. So take this time, like right now, when and they're saying timeline wise, right? Like, because Spirit was just telling us to be hermits and go inward. They mean that. But by the full moon in Scorpio, you're going to be ready to come out of that cave. So when you're ready, you will. The additional meanings for this card: it's time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. Yes. You're right to have your suspicions. Interesting. Grudges are toxic. Let something go. The end of an argument. The teaching. So the full moon in Scorpio teaching has a sting in its tail. It can, sorry, my arm was like in a weird position. Let me get here. Okay. Actually, they're telling me that you don't need to see that more. You can, if you wanted to take a screenshot, you can go back and take a screenshot. Okay, so the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when, your dark side and your shadow self may be showing. The full moon in Scorpio is also a time of magic. If you were thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. So they're saying, hey, if you're going to be in the darkness, then at least do something creative. And research the Scorpio energy. If this card really aligned with you, if these messages really aligned with you, then research the Scorpio energy. I mean, my moon's in Scorpio. So for me, I'm just like, wow, that's really intense. So I'm like, honestly, this is me to a T. I have been acting weird and paranoid and like, wanting to go back to like old people. And I'm like, this relationship isn't working. I'm like, we're too toxic together. I'm like, we need to move on from each other. Like I've just been, because it's hard, because we hit a really big fucking bump in the road and I don't want to deal with the bump. So I'm like, well, I'm leaving. And Spirit's like, okay, well, if you want to go, then go. But, you'll be missing out. You're almost there. Like you're almost at the place you're supposed to be, right? So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That old saying, I know it's like a weird, creepy, what the fuck, but you get the meaning of it, right? You wouldn't do that. So this was Alder's tea today, and I thought it was so apropos for the energy of today. The man who has confidence in himself gains the confidence of others. I don't have my glass. I mean, I have my glass on, but that's really small. What does that say? What proverb? I don't know what that says. I can't read it, but you see it. So the person who has confidence in themselves gets the confidence of others, right? And it's that old saying, right? If you don't believe in you, nobody else is going to believe in you. So you have to release the negativity. If you think you're a badass, then you're a fucking badass. And if nobody drinks your Kool-Aid, who cares? I told myself when I started Lula's Life that it was mostly just for me, but it was also for the tribe because I wanted to be able to have a place where people can, I didn't want to always talk about my shit on this channel. Some people come here just for the teaching. Some people have been with me for so long. They want to know what's going on in my life. They care about me, and that's cool. And you probably care about me too, but maybe you're new here. Welcome. And if you're not, thank you for coming back. But not every person wants to know about everybody. I love to know about my readers, the people that I follow. When they give bits of their information, I always am really excited to know more about them. But that's different strokes for different folks, as they say. So, but when I started Lula's Life, I'm not seeking out to, how many subscribers can I get? How many looks can I get? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. I started it because I am a freak. I'm a fucking weirdo. And I want to do the freaky weird things that I want to do. Yesterday, I made this funny little video and I posted it and only got 15 views. And I was like, you know what? And I took it down because I was like, maybe that's not somebody else's flavor. And I was laughing. I wasn't even like, nobody liked it. I was just like, whatever. You try some, you gain some, you lose some. And then Spirit was like, why did you take it down though? Like, why did you feel the need to take it down? And I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, and then I started to think about it. And so when I thought about it, I'm like, I think I took it down because I meant to put it out at another time. And it wasn't yesterday and it's not today. And even just that one little experiment, so to speak, was me being funny and acting, because when I was growing up, I was really into acting and musicals and music and things like that. And so I'm slowly kind of bringing all that onto my channel, onto Lula's Life, because that's what happens in my world when I'm not doing spirit work. I'm doing, I'm coloring, I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm acting, I'm watching movies, I'm being goofy, I'm playing with puppets and dolls and animals. And, I'm a fucking weirdo. And I love that. I love my weird. You don't even even know how many people at my 20-year high school reunion, which now was another, like, I don't know how many moons ago. But when I was, because I'm 51, but when I was at my 20-year reunion, so many people were like, it is so refreshing to see that you're still the same person. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm like, I kind of came full circle in the last 20 years back to myself. And I was, shared my whole life with people on my Facebook, then my Instagram, and then on YouTube, because it's important for us to share our experiences with each other. 44, 54. It's important for us to gain that knowledge of each other, to understand like why we're here together on this planet, and that we're all freaks inside, and that you don't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, and perfect is whatever it means to you, right? I mean, it's just a word. It's just a word to say, wow, like that's perfect to me. Like the scenery, the person, the flavor of something, right? Like when you have that perfect bite, you go to this restaurant, and I remember when I used to love to go out to eat, and I miss wine more than you know. I almost became a sommelier. That's how much I love wine, and really studied it for a long time. Anyway, I digress. So my favorite thing to do was to go out to eat with my friends and dine for hours. Like we would dine for like 3 or 4 hours. And I loved that experience. When I was in Europe for like 2 weeks, I loved that like everything there ran at a different pace. It was slower. And I was like, man, everything in America is like, chop, chop, chop. Let's go. Everybody, let's go. Let's move. Let's move. And it's like 45, 55, and then 56, and it's just like this kind of interesting like dichotomy, really, where it's like, where do we fit in? Who are we? So it's time to release the negativity around ourselves, around the way we look at ourselves, around our self-confidence. Also, this was at the bottom of the deck. I don't know if it's like, hold on. I'm in a weird spot here. So I didn't know if they wanted me to bring this whole thing up. Okay. So new moon in Pisces, like we just had that. Meditate and contemplate. And remember at the beginning of this, when I told you that I got that message from Bracha about our soul, like asking our soul questions. So I'm going to ask this again. I just found it. So close your eyes for a minute. Just indulge me. Just close your eyes for a minute, okay? If you're driving, don't do that, obviously. But I just want you to listen, okay? Listen to what your soul is telling you. When you are in meditation, when the world is quiet and still, listen to what your soul is telling you. And when the chatter comes back in, say, thank you, brain. I don't need you to work right now. I need to focus on my soul right now. Thank you, brain. Thank you, brain. Thank the monkeys for their extra hard work. But say, I don't need you right now. I need you to move on. Okay? And when you're in that space, Spirit wants you to ask your soul, what is its message? Soul, what is your message to me? That's all you need to ask yourself. And they'll tell you. And you don't have to have everything up front. We're so used to this instant gratification shit. And I feel like they're just having me like keep going on the bottom. So the next one is show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. Who are you? Show the world the real you. So in this Pisces energy, the taking action they want us to do is meditate and contemplate. That's it. If you set intentions and, when we did that, like during that reading, if whatever, you know what I mean? The new moon and the waxing crescent. The waxing crescent was a really cool reading, by the way. I don't know if you guys watched that one, but it was really cool. But Spirit gave us some pearls for setting our intentions. But this is really where it's at. The meditate and contemplate in this Pisces moon, until we go to the new moon in Aries. And that's what they call a dark moon, right? Because the new moon is going to be in Aries twice. At the very beginning of Aries season and at the very end of Aries season, there's 2 new moons. which doesn't happen all the time. So this spring or fall, depending on where you live, it's going to be jam-packed with action and fun and cool shit. And so the Aquarius energy is asking you, because now Saturn is coming. I believe Saturn is it Saturn or Mars that's coming out? Please tell me, my astrologers, that's coming out of Aquarius and into Pisces. So, you know, I don't have all my notes out right now because I could tell you all the different energies around the planets, but maybe it's for you to research and look up on your own. I'm a medium. This is how I do my work here. The astrology would help more, yes, but it's kind of like, you're a doctor and you have to learn everything in medical school, but then you like kind of keep your focus on one type of practice. That's kind of how it is for me. It's like when I first started learning, I knew so much more about the planets and astrology, but then I just really was drawn more to be a medium, and so this is kind of where I sunk in. But look at how it's kind of dark. I've sat back. The sun has shifted. Look at how it's kind of dark at the meditate and contemplate and the new moon in Pisces. That's what they're saying. Like, even though we're going to go into a full moon in Virgo, it's like it doesn't matter, because it's like it's still going to be like this kind of like watery darkness, this kind of shadow that they, like I said, it's like the Piscean energy for, at the end of the astrological cycle is like the new moon of the, right? It's like we're going to be like, we're coming out of all of the shit of 2022, and then we're going to be shifting into the new astrological year in 2023 that will carry on to 2024. So, listen to that helicopter. Oh, and I'm hearing no more great escape. Some of you are trying to escape, and I know that this is a message for me for sure. But they're saying you can't escape it. Sometimes you just need to work through it to get to it. And not only that, somebody said to me recently, I think the reason why people don't watch your episodes as much is because they're so long, and most people don't have a long attention span. And I thought, well, then that's why these aren't for everybody. I may get thousands of people who look at my shorts, but I may only get 30 people or 15 people or 50 people who watch these new moon or these moon readings that aren't the picker readings, right? Because this is where the real juice is, because this is for all of us. This isn't just one like segregated, like this is your message, this is your message. This is like an overall message for all of us. And if you've made it this far, I'm really proud of you for sticking in there. Not because, you had to sit here and listen to me talk for almost an hour, but just that you're willing to, even if you watch 10 minutes at a time, I know some of the tribe, you'll tell me, I always watch the whole thing. I may not watch the whole thing at once, but I watch the whole thing, and I'm like, I do the same thing with my readers, because I have some readers that are the same way, that their readings are as long as mine, but they get 46,000 views, but they also have like 500,000 views, you know what I mean? Or 500,000 subscribers. So if you look at it from that, it's like we're exactly where we're supposed to be for 400 something, and, maybe we average between 40 and 50 people actually watch these moon phase readings, because these are not for the lighthearted. These are for the champions. These are for the people who make it to the fucking very end of these episodes because they know that they need this medicine, because that's exactly what it is. It's spirit medicine. It's soul medicine. And I'm walking here with you, next to you, in front of you, and back of you, whatever you need, to support you, behind you, to walk in front of you and lead the way when you're feeling tired and you can't do it yourself, or walk next to you when we're feeling fucking vibrant and beautiful together exactly the same way. It's all energy, baby. And we just got to take care of each other the best we can. And Spirit said, this is the last message, that the end of a tough cycle approaches. They're like beautiful souls. And it's not even about the full moon in Capricorn, although you can take it that way. But the end of a tough cycle approaches for all of us. So, and by the time we do get to the full moon in Capricorn, which will be in the summer or the winter, depending on where you live, you know what I mean? It's like everything's going to work itself out. So just hang in there. Spring's going to be filled with a lot of shit, and a lot of people are going to come and a lot of people are going to go, and there's going to be a lot of exciting things, but just stay creative, stay open. I kind of feel like because this is so close to, because it's February 27th, and even though it's the first quarter moon reading, I feel like it's also like a little, like, just to let you know, March is going to be jam packed. I'll probably do like some type of reading for March. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Spirit, because when I look at it, like, because I'm like, yeah, this would be the closest to it, because the waxing gibbous reading I probably won't do until, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe I'll make the waxing gibbous reading be a March forecast as well. We'll see what Spirit has. And we'll see what Spirit has planned for that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. That's the 4th moon phase and we're in the 3rd. So let's just stay where we are. Just know that the end of a tough cycle approaches. Are there any more messages, Spirit, before we wrap this up? Any more messages for the tribe? Oh, okay. Oh, shit. This fucking like flew out. Like I don't know if you heard, but like the other part of the deck fell and this flew out. Oh my goddess. Your commitment is being tested. And I'm hearing your commitment is being tested. For some of you, your commitment is being tested on showing the world who you really are. Like, this is it. There's no time like the present. If you wanted to start that fucking channel, do it now. Do it now. In this moon cycle, in this creative Piscean moon cycle. And if you get nobody watching you, who cares? I actually started Lula's Life, I think last year or 2 years ago, but in a different, I think I had a different name for it. I don't remember what I was calling it now. Isn't that weird? It doesn't matter. But either way, it's like, it doesn't matter because this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And I know my commitment is being tested because I always talk about how much I want to sing and everything. And I'll mouth things and act things out on my channel, but I haven't really put that much up of me singing because that's where my fear is. I'm just being honest with you guys because I have had, in my music career has been up and down, up and down, up and down. People love me, they don't love me. People like my voice, they don't like my voice. And I'm not for everybody, but there's so many different original like people out there right now that I feel like if not now, when? And I feel like it's the same for you. Whatever you are the most fucking afraid of, I want you to do it. And even if it's on a small scale, just for yourself. Just something small on a small scale for you. Just know that your commitment is being tested and Spirit's like, it's now or never. You said you wanted this thing. You got to actually like put it into motion and really, really commit to it. Let me see. Do we have any more messages? Because I feel like that was it. That was it. Spirit, do we have any more? Okay, some cards fell on the floor, so I just want to see. Sometimes they do that, but they want me to make them into shorts. And I did make a shorts the other day with one of these. So, Spirit, do we have any more messages from the book? Do you want us to read any more messages from the book? No. But, I mean, come on. The fact that our last card we got is the first quarter moon. On the first quarter moon, literally on it, on a moon day, on a Monday. Come on. That's just too much for words. So, remember, ask your soul. This is about your soul. This is not about your ego. This is not about like, you know what I mean? Remember, you are unstoppable. And this is the energy to take that action. So taking action, even if it's just thinking about something or writing something down or putting pen to paper, listen to what your soul is telling you. And in that meditation, ask your soul, what is its message? And thank you again to Bracha for giving us those pearls of gold. And please go check out that. It's in the description box, the link. Maybe I'll put it in the comments as well. Until next time, you guys, I love you so much. Take really good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh, bye.